Okay. Hallie Hase.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
There's some audio quality issues, and it's because we're sitting in my living room, sitting around my laptop.
With the flicker of a candle.
With the flicker of a candle, we've got crickets going on in the background.
The movement of my body, because I can't sit still.
We have our tea. There's a lot of bad audio quality things happening, but we're gonna let it happen. Thanks for letting me interview you.
Of course.
I really appreciate it. Also, to the audience, we were just playing music together for the last hour. Will you introduce yourself and tell us who you are?
Absolutely. My name is Hallie Hase. I was born in Texas. Lived in Nashville for most of my life. Definitely the sole musician in my family, but it was nurtured growing up, and I could not be more thankful for that.
Love.
A little bit of a wordsmith.
Okay.
A little bit of a frolicker of fields.
Sure.
I would like to self-describe myself. I've been writing songs since I was 7 years old.
Amazing.
So it's my life.
Yeah. And you recently moved to Burlington.
I did. I recently moved to Burlington.
And you and I we got connected, but we really got connected because we're playing a show together.
We are. We are playing a show.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, the 27th, September 27th.
Yep.
At Radio Bean.
Yes.
Starting at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
I go on, you go on. It's going to be a grand old time.
Yeah, we just practiced a song that we might be pulling out together. We'll see.
At the end, so you got to stay till the end.
100%.
Yeah.
And you just recently moved to Burlington. And you also just recently put out a single. And I don't want to jump all around, but we're going to jump all around. Also because it's you and I feel like we jump around.
Yes.
I want to ask you about Mesopotamia. Because I know that it's an exciting song for you for a couple of reasons.
Absolutely.
Would you be comfortable sharing why?
I would be so comfortable sharing
Okay,
why.
Tell us why.
So, Mesopotamia, I identify as a lesbian, and this is my first openly queer song. So Mesopotamia is not my first song written about a woman, but it is my first song that directly addresses the fact that it's about a woman.
Love.
And Mesopotamia was inspired by kind of this grand first queer love that I had while living on the coast of Maine. And
New England gay love.
So I had to move back up here.
Yeah, obviously.
Cherish a piece of that. And that experience kind of became my muse. Not just the person, but the whole, the feeling behind it, the place, the actual physical geography of coastal Maine became my muse for that reason. And Mesopotamia seeks to, kind of pinpoint those feelings that were so fresh and almost like the Garden of Eden. It's like the start of life, the start of civilization. It was the start of everything for me. In a very real way when it comes to my sexuality. So, hence the name Mesopotamia, the Fertile Crescent, the beginning of civilization.
Yes, okay. I feel like there's also, there are actually queer undertones all throughout that, lore and history and,
absolutely.
Totally hidden. So I feel
it's like the history teacher. They were best friends. They were roommates.
Yeah, it's like Song of Achilles. Have you read that book? You should.
No.
Oh my god, it's so good. I think my brother's reading it, but anyway, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, you just put this out, so it hasn't been very long, but
it hasn't.
Can you talk to us about what the reaction was to the song? Did
Absolutely.
you promote it as a queer song? How did that go, and what has the reaction been, if any?
Yeah, so I kind of promote it in several spaces. So we talked a little bit about this. Among my family, I kept it very professional, and I gave them the feedback that I got from music professionals, and they were happy with that. They were like, okay, if you're getting attention from the song, you're getting attention from the song, and whatever. The attention that I'm talking about was actually from the John Lennon Songwriters Association.
Cool.
They chose Mesopotamia as their song of the week.
Amazing.
And that satiated my family. They were the Beatles. We don't argue with the Beatles.
Sure. That's amazing. Amazing.
But as far as my hope is for it to reach a bit more of the queer community, which I'm hoping here in Burlington could be a possibility.
Yes. I don't think it will be hard to reach
the
queer community.
So if you are here in Burlington and you are queer,
or love queer people,
or just happy to hear queer art, come to the show. Come to the show. It will be abounding in such things.
I love that. Amazing. Talk to me, switching around a bit, talk to me about some of your musical influence and like how did you land on your sort of like singer songwriter, like what do you feel like made you the artist you are? Like where did you pull from?
To be completely honest, it was the places. Okay. So for me it was physical geography. I have an obsession with maps.
Okay, wow.
I love maps. I love maps of the coast, like nautical maps.
Yeah, sure.
I love historical maps.
Topography. We love
it.
We stand topography here.
So place is very important to me. Setting is very important to me. Home is very important to me. And I kind of have a wandering sense of home. So wherever I go, I kind of like collect senses of home.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably made me the artist that I am. I'm thinking like when I lived in Texas, when I was living in Houston, I was in the middle of the city, so I didn't really have a whole lot of natural resources to like artistically to pull from. So I pulled a lot from my religious upbringing and used to write exclusively religious songs.
Oh wow.
I did, which is really a shock now that we're
here.
Yeah,
I mean,
I thought I was
gonna start somewhere.
I thought that's what I was gonna do.
We love a Christian rock anthem. Okay.
Yes, exactly. I was pulling one out from my songbook from when I was 8 yesterday with my friend, and we were just having the best time. It was like
we love Jesus here.
We love Jesus. So that's probably. But what's interesting is when I moved away from the South, it followed me. The South followed me. I didn't used to write folky Americana music when I was in the South. I couldn't stand it. All I wanted to do was get out of the South. And then the moment I stepped foot in Burlington, these influences from the South started to seep into my music. So here I am writing queer folky Americana music.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a combination of things that I am and always have been, and the places that my feet have lived. And so I would like to think that I escaped all the influences of the South, but
well, of course you didn't. You know, like it's your.
But that's not how humans work.
It's
like
so not
we're sticky surfaces,
and it's not how you would want to work. I think like even in the most challenging of times, like you have a reason to hold on to some of that for some reason. I don't know if you know, my show is called Are You Okay? And I play like nostalgic music, like that's what I call it.
Yeah.
But because I'm so drawn to like, for me, music is like a time machine almost. Exactly. I don't know how else to explain it. Like I cannot listen to a song without thinking about where I was in my life when I first heard the 100%. Song. That's how I see all music all the time. And I have different meanings for that, and like I get transported back, like in my most depressive times or whatever. It's like, oh man, I listened to that song on repeat. Like I can pull songs, or I feel the way that I felt, and like even if it's the most challenging feeling, I would take that over not feeling anything any day. Like it's so important 100%. To hold on to like those tough things, and then.
And to be awake to everything, right? To the whole spectrum of emotion.
100%. And to say like, oh, good, my life's so much better now. Or look at how much more free I am. Or I'm not writing Christian music anymore. I'm writing gay love songs.
100%, yeah.
Anyway, okay, got it. So your influence is...
Place
as opposed to like people.
People,
Did you have artists that you grew up listening to? Ooh. Was it really heavy Christian music?
I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I was my own secular music. I will tell you a story, though. I remember going to a birthday party and getting, as a party favor, a CD of, like, the greatest hits of, like, 2008.
Yeah. It's probably, like, now.
And I went home and I put Gwen Stefani's Sweet Escape on repeat on my CD player. And I hid under my bed so I could listen to Gwen Stefani's Sweet Escape. And I will tell you, to this day, when Sweet Escape comes on, I am, like, pumping my fists in the air.
Like, let's go!
It is my song of liberation.
Well, first of all, that song is so good.
Yeah.
My sister and I, like, spent so long memorizing that bridge when it's, like, the fast hour, like, yeah, that's so good. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, do you find it, like, overwhelming with how many music choices you have now to listen to at all? Like, are you a big taker-inner of music?
I take in a lot.
Yeah.
I kind of went through 3 years where I kind of exposed myself to all the things I hadn't been exposed to.
Yeah.
Not in, like, a crazy fashion, just, like, educational. Just let's take in information.
Yeah.
And I kind of more or less, like, woke up very fast.
Got it.
And made a lot of self-discoveries about who I am as a person, who I'm allowed to be.
Love.
And moving not just from acknowledgement, but also to acceptance.
Yeah.
And self-love, not just self-tolerance.
Yes. So important.
And so, yeah, it was a big, like, educational period for me. And I thank the internet.
Thank you, internet.
A lot. And I thank some really good friends for being kind of my educators during that time.
Yeah, to even, like, extend the hand to, like, I think about how important things like civil discourse are, about being able to have a conversation with someone who's, like, maybe clearly struggling or grew up being indoctrinated into something. Absolutely. Or having some belief system that they were simply built upon. Like, you can't help it, right? And being patient enough to say, like, hey...
And I have so much
have you thought of this?
Yeah.
You know?
I have so much gratitude for those friends for having so much patience with me.
Yes.
I also have so much empathy for people who are in places that I used to be.
Yes.
Because I know what it's like to not know anything else.
Yeah.
And I also know what it's like to feel liberated from that. And but that's not something you can push on a person. You have to wait. Just like anything else in life, you have to wait for people to come to it on their own.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. So just kind of standing on the sidelines and waving my little pride flag for, like, people in my life. Yeah.
I mean, I think about that too, like, in those areas where, like, just queerness is, like, still not celebrated at all, and how there aren't any less queer people there.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
there wasn't
it's just
there wasn't a single out person in my high school.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not one.
I mean, that was pretty much the same. Even I grew up in a liberal place, but just this different time. Like, my heart, like, I, like, love seeing young queer people because I didn't know there weren't young queer people. Yeah. Not really.
Exactly.
Like, there was, like, the one token gay kid in my high school of, like, 2,500 people. And obviously, like, that's just the only person that was out, you know? It's crazy to think about. And I grew up in a liberal New England town, so...
But that's all it is. It's like I look back on, like, my small, private Christian high school, and... It's not that there were an absence of queer people. It's literally just, it wasn't a conducive environment to be.
Yeah, 100%.
And to be out. And it makes me so curious. Like, I would love to have a little support group of people from my high school who came out later. Yeah. I don't know who they are, but, like, my heart goes out to them. And I'm like, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, do you have... any advice, and I want to be mindful of time, we gotta wrap up soon, but do you have any quick advice, I guess I'll say, to anyone who is maybe in an environment that they know is not where they're thriving, or someone who maybe is questioning their environment, their thoughts, like, when you were in the time where you could have used advice, do you have advice to give?
I absolutely do. I think the first thing that's coming to mind is that your knowing lives inside you, not outside of you. And there is no one on the outside of you externally who is going to tell you something more true about yourself than what your gut's telling you.
Yes.
And so if you are at a crossroads or just not sure what to believe, always default to your gut.
Yeah, like double down on your gut.
Double down on your gut. It doesn't matter if what's being told you has been the way for generations or whatever. There's only one truth teller about you, and it's living inside of you.
Yeah, love.
So I would just say double down on your gut.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
What's coming up next for you? Anything that you can share with us? Anything exciting?
I will be releasing a couple more singles in the next 6 months. Kind of rolling, kind of in a waterfall style.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different sounds coming up. So yeah, definitely stay tuned there.
So exciting. And then where can people find you?
You can find me on Spotify at Hallie Hase. Hase is spelled Hase. Also on Apple Music, all streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Instagram's the same, Hallie Hase Music.
Hallie Hase Music.
Yeah.
Hallie, thanks for being on Are You Okay? In my living room. This is the first one that I've done for my living room. Very relaxed
This
style.
is lovely. You're lovely.
With all the
Happy
sounds.
to be here.
Come to our show next Wednesday, the 27th at 7 at Radio Bean. We're just gonna play set. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be very sad girl energy exclusively, probably, I would dare say.
There might be a little bit of the frolicking energy, but
perhaps,
but right back to sad.
Yeah. Yay. Okay, and we're gonna play Mesopotamia after, so you can stay tuned to hear Hallie's music. Thanks for being on.
Bye.
Done. The quickest interview I've ever done in my whole life.